Welcome, my children, to the Three Idiots in a Room podcast. This is our second Halloween special. We did one last year, and I think it went over pretty well, so we're back to do it again. I'm your host, as usual, Chris Jahnke, and with me is my good friend and co-host...
Nicholas Vandevoort. Hello. Yes, again. Another week. Passed away in the dungeon. 2 weeks, actually. It's very dark down here, and Chris still doesn't want to let me out, despite how many episodes we've done.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you've been in 17 out of the 18 we are doing.
Yeah.
And I just want you to be in every single one of them, so I'm never letting you out of there. That's just your home now.
See, I thought, the one where I actually didn't show up, I was like, finally, he's gonna get someone new down here. But no, alas,
no, we found you. We caught
to this
you.
fate.
Yes, we never want to let you go. You're too integral, and plus you keep the rats away, so that's a big help to us.
Yeah, the rats. At least I make friends with a few of them. Not all of them. Some are really mean, but there's like 3 of them that I hang out with a lot.
Well, that's good. That's good that you at least are getting to know some of them,
Yeah, it's taken a long time, but I feel like there's finally something starting to build there.
Wonderful. Well, I'll have to come down and do some filming down there and do some exposés with you and the rats, see how that goes.
Yeah, sure thing. I'll schedule an interview.
In all seriousness, Nick, how have you been these last couple weeks?
Yes, I've been pretty well. Last week was really nice, actually, especially with the trip that we took for work to Illinois.
Yes, I was going to ask about that. How did that go?
It went very well. The driving was long, but I'm getting a lot of money from it, and it was also a good time in the end. So, first off, Thursday morning at 8 a.m., we all pile into the car, and we're on the road going to Illinois. It's a 12-hour drive, so we're going to be on this road for a while.
Oh my god.
I'm not a huge sports guy myself, but I don't know, I'm able to get along with these guys well enough. I didn't talk for much of the ride. I was mostly listening to music on my phone or playing Metroid Dread, which is a new Switch game that came out recently.
Cool. Not sponsored by them, by the way.
Nope, not sponsored by Nintendo. I don't know if they sponsor anybody.
But anyway.
Yes. So we get there later that night, and every person on the trip has their own hotel room.
Wow.
So, yeah, I can already tell this is going to be pretty weird trip. I remember that night being like, wow, I'm really just in a hotel room by myself on a work trip. I'm an adult finally. It felt weird. I don't know. I've never been in a hotel room by myself.
Seriously?
Yeah, nor for work, because I haven't had to travel before for, obviously working retail before this.
Yeah, it's definitely different, going from stocking shelves to like working on big TV productions.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes that come over time. Yeah, that was it was nice being able to have my own space to relax, because I didn't have too much time to myself. We really were there to work for the most of the part.
Oh wow.
We spent the next day setting up, moving around heavy camera equipment. I remember at one point we were lifting this really big, heavy lens. It was just a lens for the camera, and the case was huge. And we're having to haul it up these steps that are a little slick because it rained earlier that day, and it still looked like it was going to rain.
Oh no.
and then we get up into the spectator box. We have to get it up onto the roof of that thing.
Oh my
And
god.
the only way up is like a ladder that's at a 80-degree incline up, and we have to get this big camera lens up there with the 5 of us. It took all 5 of us just to get this thing up there. It was a hassle.
Oh my god.
Anyways, after all that nonsense, I went to graphics and just spent the rest of the time making sure I set up and had everything prepared for tomorrow. And that was really nice, actually, because I'm used to having to do that within like an hour span before we get going for the day. So.
Oh, that's nice. So you got some extra time.
Extra prep time, yes.
Wonderful.
Other than that, I met up with a friend that I have interacted with online since I was 14, but this was the first time we met each other in person.
Oh yeah, I saw that on your Snap story.
Yeah, his name's Jake, same age as me. We met on Roblox, and we kept up with each other over the years. We haven't been talking as much lately, but I did mention to him that, because I knew that I was going to Normal, Illinois, and I remembered that was around where he lived. Turns out that's actually the town he does live in, so even easier.
Well,
yeah,
that's
we had
really
lunch
cool.
that day. Yeah, it was nice being able to just spend some time with him in person.
Yeah, I always hear stories about like people meeting up with their online friends and using that as an example of like why sometimes talking to strangers on the internet can be a good thing.
It's just a different way to connect with people nowadays. That's a different tool for it.
Right.
I think, there's healthy relationships you can build, which, are the ones that last longer, but the stuff that you see on like Twitter or sometimes Facebook, that's where you get a lot of the more unhealthy online relationships. But,
Totally.
like everything, it's good in moderation. You can't have all of your friends be online, but it's good to branch out.
You have to see real people,
Yeah.
So, anything else going on in your world?
Trying to think. Not really. I've just been getting through with working on another video for Third Floor North. That's taken a while. Actually, the IRS finally paid me back my tax returns.
Like, just recently?
Yeah, on Sunday, the last day of our trip, when we were driving back, I checked my bank account out of curiosity because I was doing the math of like how much money I made on the trip. And I looked at my bank account and I was like, oh shit, there's $3,000 in here that wasn't here before.
Holy shit!
So, yeah, I have $3,000 now that I didn't have a week ago.
Well, that's fantastic.
I've already used up almost 1,000 of it to pay off some debts that I had to some of my friends. But yeah, namely, okay, no, let me explain. The biggest part of it was to Zach, my roommate, because he pays for the utilities and we have to pay him back. And I'd missed like 2 months of that. But also, we bought a TV together, and since he paid for all of it, but the expectation was that I'd pay back for half of it.
I see.
And I'd been slowly working back on that, as well as the other monthly utility bills. But I was just able to clear all of that and a few other things with $1,000. So.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So one question I wanted to have for you, I'm looking at your Third Floor North page, and there's the video with the cats. Is that one of your roommates, or is that you?
That is Alex.
Alex.
Yeah, he's the other guy that uploads most of the other videos.
Okay.
The only one that Zach has uploaded is March of Progress. That's his pixel art.
That's right, yeah.
The rest of them have been either me or Alex. Most of them are Alex right now, because I'm trying to work on longer ones.
Okay.
improve on my editing skills a bit more. But
yeah, I only asked because I know there was a girl in that one, and I didn't know if you had a girlfriend
that's
again or not.
no, that's his girlfriend actually. So
Okay.
yeah, they're probably gonna get engaged once they're done with this year of college.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what he's telling me, anyways. So yeah.
Nice. All right. So now I gotta rack my brain for what's going on with me, because essentially, like, I've just been working for like 40 hours a week plus at Festival, and I'm just standing there now and doing cashiering like you used to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep, those were days.
Yeah.
Not the days, but they were certainly days.
How long were you there for? Like,
I was at Festival for like 2.5 years, I think. Because I started when I was the summer when I was turning 16. So,
okay.
and then I got out of there when I was 8. No, actually, it was. I remember I handed in my 2 weeks on the same day as my 2-year anniversary.
Seriously?
Because I forgot which day it was specifically. I was just like, it seems like it's coming up soon, but I don't know if I'll make it there. So I'm just gonna hand in my 2 weeks right now, anyways. And then it just so happened to be the same. I walked in, and the manager was like, "Hey, can we see you?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is great." But I mean, I don't know what this is about, but this is like perfect timing. Tells me that 2 years, congrats, you get a small pay raise. What were you thinking about? You thinking about going to a different department or something? And I was like, actually, pulls out from my pocket, slides across the counter.
Holy shit!
I made 50 extra cents in those last 2 weeks, though, so that was pretty cool.
Oh my god, that is one for the books, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, yikes.
Oh man. And I'm assuming you put your 2 weeks in because you were going to college, right?
Yes, so that
Yeah.
it had it on the note and everything, so obviously, like, I couldn't stay there any longer. It wasn't. I don't know if I really wanted to stick around there longer, anyways. Maybe another year if I had gone to like the tech or something, but
Yeah.
I definitely was feeling like I'd branch out of there at some point. So
Because you were a cashier for like the entire time you were there, right?
I was a bagger for like
Oh.
the entire. I only became a cashier in like the last 4 months that I was working there.
Oh
So,
fuck.
Yep. That's
Bagging for like 4 years. That's terrible. Or 2 years.
Yeah. I was gonna say, where do you get the extra 2 years from? Was I stuck in a time loop or something? Am I 24?
Oh man. So yeah, I'm still over there. I'm still working on C.A.F.E videos, as you can probably see.
Yeah, I've noticed some of your uploads.
Yeah, I gotta finish filming my big Halloween Chris Try stuff today.
Oh yes. What
And
do you
I'm
not
not-
for that one?
I'm not saying because I want it to be a surprise.
All right, fair
It's,
enough.
I'll give you a hint. If you go back into my videos and see the other Chris Try stuff videos I've done this month, you might get an idea. But
Okay,
I'm not
Alright.
gonna say.
I'll keep that in mind.
So yeah, I'm doing that. I filmed a sketch yesterday that's coming up next week.
Nice.
So I'm trying to experiment with more like split screen technology, and the sketches that I'm doing in this style are sort of my gateway into it.
So when you say split screen technology, do you mean like editing or?
Yeah, so like I can be in the same shot, but two of me.
Oh, so like masking over. Yeah. I won't get into the technical stuff, but
Yeah.
yeah, I get the effect you're going for.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn how to do that because the way it worked out is everyone that wants to be in videos with me is still in frickin' high school, you know, and
Yep.
you're out in Fargo, so we can only do the podcast together.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna be even farther pretty soon once I get to Colorado. So
that's right, you're moving. Yeah.
eventually.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting because right now I'm basically my only actor in a thing that was supposed to be like a full group effort. So I've been trying to find ways around it. And some of them I think have been successful, some of them I think are not. But yeah, I'm just trying to work with what I got right now, you know.
All right. Yeah, I mean, the more you do it, the better of ways you'll find to get the effects you want. So
Yeah.
I think, keep at it.
I am working on a couple of big projects though. One is actually for next Halloween. And that one's going to be called C.A.F.E Murder Mystery.
Ooh. So next Halloween, next year?
Yeah. So like,
Okay.
I'm going to try, because I'm still not done with the Christmas special. I have to do some reshoots. We have to do some more scenes. We're going to have to do part of a podcast for that. So that's in there. That's going to be like a video podcast.
Yeah.
But essentially, when I'm done with that, I'm going to start writing that, and it's going to be like a whole thing. I want it's not going to be just sketches. It's actually going to be a story, more like a hour-long movie, something like that.
Okay. Is it just all playing out in the video then, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
The story I'm going for now, I don't know if this is going to be the actual story when it's finished, is like, it's a guy named David. He's going to a Halloween party, but he gets axed off on the way there. And everyone at the party is like, where is he? Because he never misses Halloween parties. So they go out looking for him, and then they find out, something really bad happened, and then it just goes from there. So that's sort of what I'm working with now.
See how that premise evolves over time,
Yeah, obviously there's a lot more work to be done with it, that's a year away. But, yeah.
It's a cool idea so far, yeah.
Thank you.
So keep me up on that,
Yeah. Speaking of cool ideas, how's your graphic novel coming?
We haven't had a meeting, because last week I was in Illinois, and our next meeting would be tomorrow morning.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So,
but next chapter we're going to be, I think, either plotting more of the first robbery our main character does, or progressing into more of the demon lore and starting to introduce that side of the story.
The demon war, that's pretty cool.
Lore, not war.
Oh, lore.
Yeah, I could have spoke a bit better there, but anyways.
All right, so big stuff coming up all around us.
Yep, always. It's just
all right.
Seems like the theme recently.
I feel like now that we're like we're not busy with school, so we can actually put more effort into what we want to do, even though we are working.
Yeah, I definitely felt that way when I started the TV station job. I just never really got around to taking the full grasp of it until recently. I did feel like I had a lot more time on my hands though, and that I was more responsible, or like I felt like I should be doing better things with the time I got,
Right. Totally. Alright, so I think that about wraps it up for the catch-up segment of the show, unless you have any last-minute things.
Nah, I mean, we're already at the 20-minute mark, so...
Yeah.
I'd say we're moving along.
Alright, so now let's let's go into a segment that we've had on this show before. Great moments in film, and this week we're going to be talking about Halloween movies.
Halloween movies, okay.
Yeah, so I'll let you go first on the panel, and then we'll just see if we've seen anything recently that's the same.
I haven't seen many horror or Halloween movies recently, but I do remember last year watching the original Halloween.
Oh, I have seen that too.
Yeah.
So, alright, we can talk about that together. Great.
Yeah, there's the new sequel, of course, which I'm still debating if I want to see it or not. I feel like that'd be like a group thing. But
I'm thinking of seeing it Halloween night.
yeah, that'd be nice, because I am free Halloween, so if, some of my roommates are as well, then maybe I'll go.
Cool. But anyway, since we have not seen the new one, let's talk about the original.
Sure.
What are your what were your initial thoughts after seeing it?
I watched it with a film class, so my initial thoughts were a lot more analytical than I think they typically be. But I was surprised at how true the lesson, or like the point the professor was trying to get across was, when that a common trope in horror movies is that they usually kill off teenagers that are engaging in like premarital sex or drug use or stuff like that, sort of as a way to like, subliminally say, don't do this shit, you stupid kids.
I feel in movies like that, there's a lot of bias,
Yeah.
Like a director can put in his like own personal bias, and in that case, his bias might have been, like you said, don't have premarital sex, and that was,
Yeah, and this trope also led to the final survivor that, takes down the villain, often leading to be a female, because they're like the pure girl who didn't succumb to all the whatever that was going around her. And while that might not have been the best message in the end, it did give us more female protagonists in the end, so I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think from Laurie Strode, we got Ripley and Alien.
Yeah.
Because that came out pretty soon after, I think.
Yes, and I remember the director actually wrote all those roles being like, they could be either gender, it doesn't matter. And so, yeah, he just casted based on who he felt would fit those roles better. Which
is a great thing to do,
Yeah.
Because I feel like even now, there's still a lot of typecasting going on.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's going to stop.
No.
In some instances, it's good, because there are actors that do really well with a certain type of character. But
right.
I also feel like you should give everyone the freedom to branch out.
Also, the whole thing with whitewashing.
That is really bad.
That's a whole different conversation, but I wanted to point out that in a case like Doctor Strange, where Tilda Swinton plays the what's her name?
The Master?
Something like that. Like, let's just call her, the Master for now.
I forget what her exact name is too. But anyways.
Like in the comics, she was the same like race as Benedict Wong's character in those movies. But in the movie, she was played by Tilda Swinton, who is so white that she's in like every Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah. So
there's definitely a gap there that is a pretty big fucking gap.
Yeah, it's still being worked on. There's always something to continue striving towards, but I think there's also been some good advancements made so far that we can recognize.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Like, making Poe in the Star Wars sequel trilogy, even though that wasn't handled the best towards the end, in The Force Awakens, he is a fucking badass.
Mm-hmm.
He's a stormtrooper who escapes and goes on to, like, be part of the head of the Resistance, which is just fucking awesome.
Yeah, big arc.
Yeah.
How much time is this segment, by the way? I forget.
10 minutes.
All right.
Oh.
Then we may want to talk about the actual movie.
Yeah.
Well, we still got some time.
Back to Halloween.
Yeah.
Since this is a Halloween special, after all.
Yeah.
So I want to talk for a moment about Michael Myers and how the faceless killer is sometimes even more disturbing and scary than the one who you can actually put a face on.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of horror and thriller is the unknown, not knowing the strength or the form of the opponent that you're up against or how to defeat them. It's very intimidating and, gives the audience that same sense of we don't know what this is or who this is. And
exactly.
They're uneased about it as well.
And a stroke of brilliance, I think, in the movie is you only see Michael Myers as a kid. And that's basically all you know him as until he puts on the William Shatner mask.
Yeah, I think that's good too. It gives him a little bit of an origin there that you don't see the progression after that, to his modern point, but it still gives you enough to kind of have an idea of what they're up against.
Right. And also something I wanted to mention, unlike in the Rob Zombie film where they spend about 45 or 50 minutes just on the family being white trash assholes, who are like abusive and that bullshit, you never know what the family was like. You never know what the kid was like before he did that. You never know anything except what you see in that opening point of view shot.
Yeah.
So it makes it just a lot more real, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get that.
In a situation like that, you probably wouldn't know much of their... If you're looking from the doctor's point of view, there is a stigma that you might want to lie as the family. You might want to say, oh, we didn't know any of this, we didn't know what was going on, even though it might have actually been happening.
Okay.
Because a lot of times that's what does happen. They just lie so they don't get in trouble, and all the blame is put on the person.
That makes sense.
So that's kind of the point I wanted to make there. Also, the fact that Laurie Strode is a babysitter in the movie who ends up taking care of both kids on the block. That kind of puts her into a more motherly role, I think.
Yeah. A maternal hero, kind of.
Yeah, because she's saving the kids from, the boogeyman, so to speak. And
Sure.
In fact, I think the kids actually call Michael Myers the boogeyman.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Any other thoughts you have on it?
No, I mean, it was a pretty solid film and laid down a lot of groundwork for future horror movies within that era. A very defining movie.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say about it is, it was, even though there were slasher films before that, like Psycho and a couple of others, that was like the first real slasher film that had been made at the time. And it's, like you said, it laid the groundwork for what was to come, and especially in the slasher genre. Like, a lot of movies... I just recently watched the original Friday the 13th, and a lot of things, like, the kids having premarital sex and stuff while they're in the cabins, that and then a faceless killer up until the end. That was a really stupid twist. But,
Yeah.
yeah, the faceless killer is chasing them, just like in Halloween, so there are a lot of parallels there.
All right, then I think that's about it for our thoughts on Halloween. Go see it if you haven't. Go see the new movie if you want to. We haven't seen it yet, so we don't know how good it is, but
also go see. Also, if you are going to see Halloween Kills, see the 2018 version first, and then just skip all the other ones.
I forgot there was one 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, because
that one is like a remake of the.
Well, no, it's a direct sequel to the first one, where all the continuity of like Halloween 2 to however many they made is just taken out of circulation.
Okay, so this is like the new.
This is
the new Halloween series. Okay.
Yeah, this is like the official ending or whatever.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense.
All right. So that was great moments in film. And now, I think it's time we go into another segment that we've had on the show before. Spooky Thoughts.
Spooky Thoughts. Whoa.
A play on our Deep Thoughts segment.
Do they have to be scary in nature? Do we have to delve into the existential?
I mean, it's Halloween, Nick.
Oh,
God. It's a Halloween special. It kind of goes without saying.
Alright, well, here we go. I'm gonna take a drink of water first.
Okay.
Okay. There's a rubber duck staring at me. Its eyes dark, filled in all the way. I don't see any light inside of it. Its slow stare as it... This one doesn't really quack. What the hell? Do I have one that quacks? Do any of these ducks quack? I don't actually know. Okay, for reference, for anyone who doesn't know, I own a big rubber duck collection. It's got like 137. And
wow, you've bulked up since the last time I saw it.
Yeah, it's like a dozen more. Or something. Oh, this one kind of. I think that's the best we're gonna get. As far as ones nearby me go. They are all staring at me. I just realized I have them all positioned so they're just looking in my general direction. Have they always been this way? Chris, I was joking before, but now I'm actually scared.
Oh God. Are they blinking at you now? Like
I can't tell. I'm blinking. Oh God, I can't stop.
Oh no. Oh, those rubber ducks are gonna come alive just like Chucky.
All of them, all at once. God, I can't fight off 137 ducks trying to kill me, dude. I can't kill off 137 of anything trying to kill me. You mean like mosquitoes, flies, ants, they could probably kill me. World's a scary place, man.
Here's a scary thought for you. You're walking through the woods. You need to take a shit. You see an outhouse. You go in. This outhouse is made of really old wood. It looks like it's been here for about 100 years. You sit down on the little hole where, all that shit happens. And a swarm of bees go into your asshole.
Right up there.
Yep. Just
how many is a swarm?
About 100, 150, I think. Maybe
I'm curious as to how they all fit in there. Because I'm not a beehive. They gotta be squeezing somewhere to not suffocate. I don't know where the room is, though. There's a lot of bees to share that space.
But you have, like, miles and miles of intestine So they just
Yeah,
start...
but that doesn't. Okay. Yes, but it's not stretched out for miles and miles. It's not like the bees are traveling the entire continent. They're traveling up my butt. That's you can quote me on that one.
Okay. This section has devolved into madness.
Yeah, as it typically does.
All right. So now we've done that. Let's.
That was pretty spooky.
So let's go into our main feature of tonight, scary stories. So here's how I think it should work. While I'm reading this story that I found, you should go in and find another story that's like scary, and then read that to me next, and then we'll each have a scary story.
Okay.
So before I start reading this one, did you grow up in like a Christian conservative household? Like,
I mean, we were Baptist, but we weren't really strong about political stuff.
Okay. I only bring that up because I kind of did. We were in a very conservative town, and that's basically all I knew up until the point I went to high school.
Okay.
And basically, we were like the odd ones out. We celebrated Halloween. We watched Disney movies. We were essentially the bad boys of, being a Christian. Even though all we were doing was like watching Disney movies and going trick-or-treating. So I was looking on the web the other day, and I found this website where they have, it's called Raise Kids in Christ. And on the front page, they had a spooky Bible story for kids.
All right, let's hear it. I want to see what's so spooky.
All right. Before it starts, it says, this is their preface: Christmas and Easter get all the attention in the religious world, and Halloween gets a bad rep, for obvious reasons. It goes on to say, there are lots of quote-unquote scary stories. Several examples: the Witch of Endor summons Samuel's spirit, King Jeroboam's hand shrivels, the Valley of Dry Bones, and the one I am sharing today, the Writing on the Wall. And it goes on and on. Get your flashlights, get your popcorn, and use your spooky voice for this. This is the story. King Belshazzar gave a huge party with thousands of noblemen. He drank wine with them, while Belshazzar, however the fuck you say that, was drinking his wine. He gave orders to his servants to bring in some gold and silver cups. They were the cups his father, Nebuchadnezzar, had taken from the temple in Jerusalem. Belshazzar had brought them so everyone could drink from them. So the servants brought in the gold cups. The cups had been taken from God's temple in Jerusalem. The king and his nobles drank from them. As they drank the wine, they praised their gods. That's in italics.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The statues of those gods were made out of gold, silver, bronze, iron, wood, or stone. Suddenly, the fingers of a human hand appeared. They wrote something on the plaster of the palace wall. It happened near the lampstand. The king watched the hand as it wrote. His face turned pale. He was so afraid that his legs became weak and they were knocking together. The king sent for those who tried to figure things out by using magic. He also sent for those who studied the heavens. All of them were wise men in Babylon. Then the king spoke to them. He said, I want one of you to read this writing. I want you to tell me what it means. Whoever does this will be dressed in purple clothing. A gold chain will be put around his neck, and he will be made the third highest ruler in the kingdom. Then all the king's wise men came in, but they could not read the writing, so they couldn't tell him what it meant. So King Belshazzar became even more terrified. His face grew more pale, and his nobles were bewildered. The queen heard the king and all his nobles talking, so she came into the dining hall. King Belshazzar, may you live forever, she said. Don't be afraid. don't look so pale. I know a man in your kingdom who has the spirit of the holy gods in him. His name is Daniel.
Oh, this is just turning into a Bible story.
Exactly.
Where's the scary part of it?
Your father called him Belshazzar. He was a clever mind and knowledge understanding. He was also able to tell what dreams mean. He can explain riddles and solve hard problems. Send for him, he will tell you what the writing means. So Daniel was brought to the king, and the king said to him, Are you Daniel? Are you one of the prisoners my father the king brought here from Judah? I have heard that the spirit of the gods is in you. I hope you can read this writing and tell me what it means. If you can, you will be dressed in purple clothes, and a gold chain will be put around your neck. We heard this already. Then Daniel answered the king. He said, You could keep your gifts for yourself. You can give rewards to someone else, but I will tell you what the writing means for you. I'll tell you what it means. Your Majesty, the Most High God, was good to your father Nebuchadnezzar, but his heart became very stubborn and proud, so he was removed from his royal throne. He was driven away from people. He was given the mind of an animal. He lived with donkeys in the wild. He ate grass just as an ox does. He stayed that way until he recognized that the Most High God rules all over kingdoms on earth, and he puts anyone he wants in charge of them.
Shit.
Oh, God, it hurts me.
Don't praise God, and you get turned into a donkey roaming in the fields until you praise hallelujah.
Oh my God.
Nay, hallelujah, more like it.
But you knew all of that, Belshazzar. After all, you are Nebuchadnezzar's son. In spite of that, you are still proud. You have taken your stand against the Lord of heaven.
Daniel is just like, alright, let me spit all these facts about your dad. But of course you already knew this, as you are his son. And thus, I do not have to explain this to you. But I just decided to rub it in a little bit.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You had your servants bring cups from his temple to you. We already know this.
Yeah. Oh
And
my
you
God.
and you and your nobles drank wine from them. You praised your gods. You didn't honor God. So he sent the hand and wrote on the wall. Here was what was written: Man tekel parson. And here's what these words mean. Man means God has limited the time of your rule. He has brought it to an end. Tekel means you have been weighed on scales and you haven't measured up to God's standard. The word peres means that your authority over your kingdom will be taken away from you, and it will be given to the Medes and the Persians. That very night, Belshazzar, the king of Babylon, was killed. And that's the end.
Spooky. Oh my God. I really needed the popcorn for that one.
Like, what the hell kind of a Halloween story is that?
And then he died at the end.
Is that supposed to be the scary part? Is it supposed to be is it just supposed to be like the first commandment all over again, which we already have in like every single Sunday school room?
Yeah, like this was a bad story.
Oh yeah. If you like that story, people, watch the C.A.F.E Christmas special, because we have a special feature in that called You Might Be a Heathen that's kind of a lot like that.
God. I can't wait for the comeback.
Oh my God. It's already filmed. Good. It's already put into the or in the template that I've made. So that part's done. I'm so excited to put that out there.
Yeah,
that's gonna be like
fun.
That's my favorite part of the special so far.
All right.
So with that, did you find any Halloween stories?
I can tell one. Sure.
Okay.
Luna and Julia were two sisters that grew up in Barbados together. They didn't get along very well growing up, but they started to bond with each other more by swimming, sneaking away and swimming by the shore at night under the light of the moon. One night, they were out swimming once again, and Julia went swimming out a little far. Luna stayed by the shore and watched her sister go out, and she dived as her sister dived into the moon's reflection in the water. Julia didn't resurface, that night. They looked for her, they sent the Coast Guard out, even tried to look for a body anywhere along the coast, but there was no sign of her after she dived into the water that night. Luna had grew a fear of the ocean ever since then and refused to swim. Eventually, her family moved away to America and got work there. And years later, Luna went to college and graduated with her fiance, Mark. For their honeymoon after their wedding, they decided to go back to Barbados. Luna was kind of skeptical about it, but Mark had always wanted to go and had been impeded a few times in the past. Was supposed to go in high school, the trip got canceled. Was going to go a few years later, but then COVID hit and shut everything down. So now it was them going for their honeymoon. They went to a different spot on the island, but later that night, Luna found herself walking out on the shoreline and heard the giggling of a little girl out by the water. She decides to investigate, and she can swear she sees glimpses of her sister walking around in the darkness. She follows around and then sees the girl swim out into the sea. Not wanting to leave her behind this time, Luna pushes aside her fear and swims out into the ocean after her. And when Julia dives into the water again, she does as well. And as soon as she does, dark hands reach out from the ocean's depths and drag her further down, the moonlight growing more and more distant as the darkness of the ocean surrounds her. Moments later, her eyes open and she's floating on her back on the top of a small pond at a different island. It's a smaller island. She looks up at the sky, and there's the full moon, though it looks bigger than it usually does. She gets up and walks around the island, and eventually she finds Julia, her little sister, the same age and image that she had left her, the only exception being that her eyes were filled purely blue. Luna and Julia spent some time together having fun swimming in that pond and around the island, but eventually Luna said to her sister, "It has been fun to see you again, but I must return." And Julia calls out, "No, you can't leave, you must stay. I could come back with you too if you so desired." And Luna gets a little, excited about the prospect of getting her sister back, but asks, "Well, how can we bring you back?" And she says that you must bring someone else here that you love to stay here in my place. Luna returns. Luna then dives back into the pond, and she finds herself waking up on the shoreline the next morning. That day, she talks to her husband about wanting to go down into the water and have a night swim. She feels like she's gotten past her fears a bit more. And later that night, Luna and Mark swim out. They're having fun. They're embracing each other, swimming under the moonlight. When suddenly, they both dive down into the water together. And only Luna comes back up. That's the end of the story.
Oh shit, that was creepy.
Yeah.
Did you find that somewhere? Did you
No, that's one I made up.
You're kidding.
No, I made that one up.
Just on the fly?
Not on the fly. That's I had the idea. I was writing that as a short story back in February, but I never finished it. But I knew where I wanted it to go, so I just decided to tell it orally here, a shortened version of it.
Damn, that is really good.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that was the brilliant writing of Mr. Nick Vandevoort. So
yes, thank you. That was my first time ever telling that story too, so I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, that was really good. I hope you do more writing. Are you doing more short stories like that?
No, I've kind of kept off of writing right now. The only real progress I make on that is on Fridays when we get together for our meetings.
Oh, sure.
And I feel like that's enough for now. I want to focus on a few other things anyways. But I'm not, I'm not done writing or anything. I'm just focusing on other things right now. But I'll get back to it.
Cool. Well, that was...
I got stories like that to finish, and I really like those stories, you know?
Yeah. You know what it reminded me of? I don't know if you've ever seen this mini-series on HBO. It's called Phantasmagorias.
I have not heard of this.
Okay, so it's like a collection of 20 or so, like 2 or 3 minute shorts, where it's they're telling famous like folklore and legends from Latin America.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
And they're like all really creepy. I would watch that show if I were you, because
I feel like that'd be really good inspiration. Because to be honest, I'm still trying to figure out what the real monster aspect of that story is.
Yeah.
So.
Well, wow, that was really good. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, well, I suppose it's about time to do our sign-offs. Do you have anything coming up in the next couple weeks?
No. Both of our games coming up are home games. And, well, we got a party going on for Halloween.
Oh, that's
But
fun.
I don't know how much I'll tell about that if I remember some of it. But we'll see how that goes.
All right. I don't have very much going up. The closest thing I can think of is I'm going to Minnesota to see a Jax Films concert.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he was doing a concert.
Yeah, it's like his first official tour, and that's the very first show he's doing. So I'm going up there on the 7th, I think.
That sounds cool. I hope you have fun.
Thank you. So yeah, that's about the only thing I have other than just working. So yeah, any closing thoughts to sign us off?
Have fun with the season and make sure to get yourself an extra bit of candy at the store because you deserve it. It's the season.
Plus, we're running out of everything, so you might want to just get some extra candy.
Yeah, make sure there's some for you. I got Reese's Puffs recently, so I've just been snacking on those the past few days. It's real nice.
I might do a Chris Try stuff of Reese's Puffs next month.
Yeah.
Because I've never had Reese's Puffs.
Really?
No, my mom was strictly no cereal, so...
Dang, okay.
Especially no sugar cereal, so I might do that. As for me, I guess just have a fun, safe Halloween. If you do go trick-or-treating or go out drinking or whatever, like, please binge responsibly.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Don't be fooled by the slutty pumpkins that show up to your parties.
Alright.
But yeah, that's about it. So thank you guys for listening to the Idiots in a Room podcast, our second Halloween special that we've done. I've been your host, Chris Jahnke, and with me is...
First, last name, and I'll...
As usual, always here.
I'll see you again. Maybe on November 3rd.
Perhaps. You better get down to the basement again now.
Oh, alright.
Gotta get down there with those rats.
I'll see you later, guys.
Okay. Bye. Thank you all for listening, and have a very happy Halloween. Bye-bye. Fucking